And we are now back here. You can hear the beeps going down. That's not just you. That is us as well. We're all hearing beeps because we're counting down to load into game number 1 of our best of 5 grand finals here. It is going to be a PVZ Classic versus SHIN. Kicking things off here on Dynasty.
Oh yeah, kicking things off, we have the grand finals again. It's been actually not a long broadcast, we're just under the 3-hour mark, but we have had such a wide array of play here. The quality was definitely there in this tournament, but now we're down to 2 final players, and not the most obvious of players either. Dark is not here.
Yeah, Dark isn't here, Cure isn't here. There's a lot of players who you'd expect to make the finals that got eliminated pretty early on. Björn, I guess, is the other one. Big name, but regardless, here we are on Dynasty for our grand finals of the evening. Over here in the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning all the way. In the bottom left, we of course have our red Zerg player coming out from the land of Korea. He is, of course, going to be representing Gaming Gladiators. We have SHIN.
Going for a proxy match! Proxy hash, let's go! And spawning in the top right-hand corner, getting proxied as we speak, we have the South Korean Protoss player. The blue Protoss representing Twisted Minds. He just took down Cure. But now he's up against the madman himself, the Mad Zerg himself. It is Classic.
That mind's really going to get twisted.
It is. We are here to twist a Classic's mind, or at least SHIN is. We'll see if he can. Again, it's going to be a proxy hatch into the spawning pool back at home. Classic, he's scouting, is looking, and it looks like he will check the base, and he does confirm the hatchery location.
But what's he going to do about it?
That's a good question. I mean, he is making the first Zealot. Zealot is being made as we speak from the side of Classic. I imagine he's going to be responding with a second gateway as well. But likewise, I wonder what the plan is from SHIN. He is mainlighting over to mine through that base, or mine that base and make use of it. Hasn't taken any gases yet either, so we're not rushing into a Roach Warren, for example. Not yet.
Yeah, throw down a... Yeah, not yet. Throw down a Spine Crawler, I guess. The spawning pool does finish up. A couple of Zerglings as well are on the way. So important right now is for SHIN to keep this alive and protect that proxy. It is a proxy that gives him a little bit of a launch pad into Classic's bases, but more importantly, is also very rich in minerals and rich in gas. And it's on Classic side of the map. Like, by right, Classic should be mining all of this, but SHIN says no. It's mine now. And
here we go. Good control out of SHIN. He does surround the Zealot. He will shut it down, but 3 Lings fall for the 1 Zealot, so not a bad trade from Classic. The death does arrive. The Zealot is going to be saved as well. Very nice save from Classic. But now we have the Spine Crawler, and now we are secure in this 1-base setup. We are mining through that gas, and the Roach Warren has been thrown down.
Indeed, it has. A couple of Ravagers, potentially. Can definitely make short work of Adepts that may try to disrupt the mining.
They may try to here, as we do see more Lings being shaved off. I'm concerned just because SHIN has lost a lot of Lings so far, but Roaches are on the way. Queens are waddling on over as well. SHIN, he wants to go here and now. He doesn't want to allow Classic to settle into his Immortal production, but that Immortal is merely seconds away from coming out.
Yeah, once it finishes, once it pops, I don't see an easy way for SHIN to be able to take it out or even keep it at bay.
Yeah, it's going to be a difficult kind of aggression or difficult offense here for SHIN. Throws down the Bile. We do dodge it. The Immortal has arrived, and now we can just completely shut this down.
It's Queen, man. Just wanted to waddle in. Just wanted to see what was going on, but will get taken out. Will get targeted down very easily here by Classic.
Yeah, good pick off there by Classic. Meanwhile, we're getting into our Warp Prisms, so then we can juggle and reinforce wherever we so please. Additional gateways are finishing up, and now with the help of this Immortal, we can even focus down that Spine Crawler. There is no Transfuse, there is no Queen. The Spine Crawler is going to go down.
Like so. Ravager's nowhere near in position to try to deal with this. Decent Bile, able to take out one of these Adepts, but of course the scary unit here for Classic is that immortal.
Yeah, and we're about to have two. We have a second immortal on the way as we speak. We're going to be juggling over the wall as well, going for the queen, but now we know the army's out of position, and SHIN, he's going for the main.
And he's going to try to, as Classic does have a sentry, has a lot of sentries here in position. There are 4 biles available here for SHIN, and a lot of them actually end up getting used on one of these force fields. So in the end, Classic's going to be able to not just prevent SHIN from getting on top of it, getting up that ramp, but also completely cut the army in half.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the biles did take down, I want to say 2 sentries, but I mean, that still pales in comparison to what we have left over here. Classic, he just does force his way out. No mining whatsoever at the gold. We can see SHIN trying to expand elsewhere back at home, but he's lost so much momentum. He does go for the surround. He does catch an immortal.
Yeah, I'm going to try to, at the very least. Lings are getting a lot more damage done than I would have expected them to.
Yeah, biles
will siege up. He knows that there's only 1 Ravager here, so very limited anti-air from SHIN.
And a very nice surround here from SHIN. He cleans up the entire Gateway army, but the Immortals are saved. We do get the recall. The first 2 Immortals do make it out alive. That was not a bad trade for SHIN, though. Again, he cleaned up everything else on the ground. The sentries, the adepts, and Classic is still only on the 1 base, but Classic should be able to harass, with these Immortals, and SHIN is still trying to get his natural up and running.
Yeah, gonna try. A lot of those drones from earlier on going to try to retreat and get back in position. Classic now once again restaking his claim on this gold. And I guess that's important to point out, is that Classic is now going to completely switch the dynamic. He's going to be a lot richer than SHIN until SHIN decides to go for a 3rd.
Yeah, exactly. At the same time, we're going for that double jump across the map. We shave off some Lings, but not much else. These Immortals are very low, by the way. We have to be careful. Oh, as the Queens do focus on the Warp Prism. Does strip away its shields, but so far so good. Classic does maintain its position here. Meanwhile, back at home, as you mentioned, Classic will soon have the greater economy with that gold base, and SHIN can't really do much about it. Not yet.
Not yet. As he himself kind of has to get his economy off the ground and reestablish himself.
SHIN only on 31 workers. Still, I would say Classic with the better economy. Now going to be made over and actually saturating the gold base as well. The Immortals are still being active as well. We're going for the Queens, and we get 1. Oh my god.
Not a bad trade here for Classic at all. Even getting a couple of Adepts here to try to buffer for... I was going to say to try to buffer for the Immortals, but it looks like he's actually going for a multi-prong.
Yeah, he's going to try and distract SHIN here towards the left-hand side instead with the Immortals, and the Adepts are going to be slipping into the main base as well. How many workers can we kill? 2 Adepts, they do one-shot drones.
And so far Classic has been doing a fantastic job of keeping SHIN distracted. Good target firing coming out here from Classic as well. 5 drones will go down, and that is a terrifying prospect here. If you're in SHIN's position, you're already practically lower on the base count just because your opponent has a gold base. That's their natural, and now you're going to be down on workers again. As the Zerg player in the PvZ, this is terrifying.
And the drop is still being active, by the way. We do pick up a couple of extra units. At the same time, though, we have Ravagers across the map. We do deny mining at the natural base, so good movement here by SHIN. The force field's a little bit lackluster here as well, as they don't quite catch any Ravagers, but now with the help of the Warp Prism, we should force back the army.
For now, as SHIN gonna be coming in, consolidating his forces. That's a lot of Lings. They can get a lot done if they get the right surround, or even just by acting as a buffer. They're going to be useful. 1 Immortal finally falls.
It does end up falling here. Meanwhile, in the main base, working towards Glaives. It's going to be 5-gate Glaive Adepts here as they follow up out of Classic. It's going to be a 2-base win from our Protoss player. And yes, we are denying mining here at the gold base, but the Adept army is now finally free, and we're pushing.
Indeed, we are. And Adepts aren't a terrible way of dealing with countering the army composition that Classic has built here. Glaive's not quite done yet.
Oh, the Biles!
Great force fields buying a lot of time. Some of the Biles do land. And that's about the end the last of the Sentry's energy isn't going to be enough to keep Classic alive. It looks like it just barely is? Question mark is.
The Immortal goes down, the Prism goes down as well. We clean up all the Adepts. SHIN, he will shut down this army. A couple of Adepts do make it out, but Reinforcement's going to be able to clean them up as well. And Classic lost everything. He lost all of his Immortals, all of his all of his War Prisms as well. He's down to only Adepts, and he has lost map control. He's lost any kind of mining at his natural. SHIN, he has this. He takes a lead.
He does take a lead here. Doesn't quite go for the throat, not yet anyway. Guess he wants to make sure that he can get more units out before pushing into the main. Great denial of the warp in over there. Those sentries would have been absolutely clutch in the future defense. Huge miles on top of this army, on top of this base, will take it out. Big surround on the Adepts as well. Classic going for a little bit of a Hail Mary here, sending the rest of his units across the map to try to, at the very least, distract SHIN.
Yeah, and 2 Adepts do make it in. We do distract SHIN for a moment, but the Adepts are going to be completely shut down. SHIN maintains his 2-base economy here. Did lose a lot of drones in the kind of lead up to this situation, but does have more mining than than Classic. Classic's like long distance mining instead. And what do we have to defend? We have 4 sentries. 5 sentries.
That's a lot of sentries.
You're not wrong. True. True.
But we don't really have anything beyond that. The wall isn't quite a wall. Despite that force field, GG, SHIN takes game number 1. In typical SHIN fashion, I don't want to have a be careful what you wish for situation, but I kind of would like to see a few more Zerg players try this in ZvP. I'm hoping this is, I'm hoping it's not a be careful what you wish for, and we see this non-stop on Dynasty, but it's kind of cool. I like what I saw.
Yeah, GG, well played. I mean, we've seen a lot of all-ins on Dynasty. Scarlet did this as well in WTL, and I think ever since she has done it, some others have tried it. Just a really nice way to make use of Dynasty, because a macro game on Dynasty in a ZvP is difficult, very difficult for the Zerg players. So yeah, they have been a little bit more creative at coming up with different kind of all-ins on this map, and it was a shaky game, right? It wasn't the cleanest execution from SHIN initially. It was looking better for Classic, but SHIN was able to get a good surround, a good engagement out of the map. He completely shut down all the Immortals. He cleaned up the ground army as well. A very nice fight for SHIN, and from that moment was able to snowball out of control. Whew, but that was still a very chaotic game. You know, it wasn't a sure thing by any means.
Yeah, which is what we like to see here from SHIN, especially. It's kind of his specialty, kind of what he is known for. It's chaos.
Oh yeah,
it's a Korean Mio Micah, if you will. Maybe not that far, but still, I feel like they would get along well if they were on the same team. Anyway, we're going to be continuing our series now on Site Delta. Over here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the bottom right, we have our blue Zerg player coming out from the land of Korea. He is spicy? Question mark? According to some in our chat. I have some opinions on that, but he is of course going to be representing Guy Min Gladiators. We have SHIN.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss representing Twisted Minds. It is Classic. Here we go. And when it comes to Shin Ramen, you know what I've never had? I don't know if you've had it. I've never had Shin Black. Right? There's like a
Shin Black?
Yeah, there's like Shin Black with Shin Ramen Black. Yeah, it's like a more classy, more expensive version of it.
I need to look this up. I don't think they sell that here.
Okay, I've been tempted by it, seeing it in the grocery stores, but I have not yet indulged myself in it.
Oh, beef bone broth. That sounds delicious.
You're like,
I don't want that now.
Pappy, now I need to try this. I need to know what's going on.
Yeah, it does. It does look really good. I'm looking at pictures at it now.
Oh no, what have I done? What have I? Oh no. You're like, you know what? I'm gonna leave the cast. I'm gonna go down to the grocery store. I'm gonna
fly over to Korea. Pick it up. Yeah.
I'm sure they sell it in Singapore. 100%. 100%.
Yeah, I'll have to keep my eye out next time. If I don't see it in a grocery store, I'll have to keep my. I might check out a Korean store. This looks pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. I've always seen it, but I've never tried it yet. I'm tempted though. Tempted. Very tempted.
Yeah. I on the other hand have tried SHIN shrimp flavor. It is awful. Dude, absolutely terrible. Just get the regular spicy mushroom.
Oh.
That one's fantastic.
I've never seen this before. I've never, because I just looked it up. I've never actually tried or even seen shrimp flavored shin ramen. That's crazy.
You're not missing out.
You're like, good. It's bad.
It's, yeah.
Okay, I see. But yeah, this is something that I've never seen.
Yeah, I very recently, I did go to the Korean. I was at a Korean store. I picked up some Chilsung cider yesterday when I was there. I've seen something for the first time. It wasn't Shin ramyun. It was Jin ramyun, but it was mild flavored, which I was not aware existed.
Yeah. That's why the other version specifically says spicy on it, because there's a mild version as well.
Yeah. I didn't get. And now I wish I'd picked some up so I could tell the difference. So I could come over the difference. When I saw mild, and I felt offended.
I hear what you're saying.
Trying to sell that here.
What you're saying is basically we need a mukbang stream where we just have nothing but ramen. We just need buy as much ramen as we can, compare them, review them, rank them.
Yeah, tier list them.
Let's go.
As we look into our game right now, as SHIN is opening up a bit more normal compared to Dynasty. Classic as well, but a little bit of a twist with his Stargate opener. He is going for a Void Ray, and it's not purely a defensive Void Ray.
Yeah, so this Void Ray opener is something that Classic has been very fond of in PvZ, and he would exclusively go for Void Ray openers around November, December, January, these most recent couple of months before stopping at pre-IM Katowice. Then he just kind of pivoted away from that as a build of choice, but it's cool to see him coming back with it. Oracle comes in from the right hand side, but we do have Queens in position. We get a kill, 2 drones go down. That was not worth of a Classic.
Yeah, pretty good start here for SHIN. Classic going to be playing catch up from here on out to kind of reestablish himself, I should say.
Yeah, exactly. He was hoping that he could catch SHIN off guard with the initial Void Ray to hide that Oracle. Meanwhile, Depths, they do shade in, and they do break through the Lings, by the way. We are getting some drone damage.
Yeah, not too bad. These are Glaiveless attempts, by the way, and Glaive is not even in production right now for Classic, so already these Adepts have paid for themselves. Will they be able to also cover the cost of that Oracle that went down?
They've more than paid for themselves. Yeah, we get the Oracle into the third base. We have more Adepts here shading in between the bases. This is becoming game-ending damage, by the way. 15, 16 drones go down and counting.
And this is all without Glaives. 18 drones go down. That was actually a brilliant move from Classic to lose his Oracle. Because it lulled SHIN into a false sense of security. Made him lose an entire mineral line. SHIN does have a lot of Zerglings that he's sending across the map. Does Classic have enough defenses? He only has the Oracle. He has a couple of Warpins. He does have really good SimCity here by his third base. And it looks like SHIN will not be able to reciprocate.
He will not yet. I like what you're saying. You're like, Classic, it was all planned. He wanted to lose the Oracle, Bappy. It was brilliant. Yeah. True. Meanwhile, it's an all-in. SHIN has not droned. He lost a lot of workers. He has not re-droned, by the way. We're going for a Queen Roach drop a Lord all-in. It's all or nothing. SHIN saying, you made this happen. You forced this because you killed so many workers. I have to go all-in. What else can I do?
Look what you made me do.
And we'll see if we can defend. We do have a shield button. We do have an overcharge. Good SimCity here at the third base, as you mentioned. A good amount of Stalkers, but is it going to be enough? Do we have enough support for said Stalkers here? Void Ray comes in, but we have the Queens.
You have the Queens for anti-air. Gonna have some creep thrown down as well, so these queens will be able to transfuse. Good transfuses on some of these roaches. Biles will kind of connect to the shield battery, but not enough of them to take it out.
Yeah, the shield battery puts in a lot of work. The Lings, they are melting here, but the Roach Ravager stand strong. We're getting on top of those Stalkers. We're down to 5 Stalkers remaining. We do go for a big warp in. The Stalker count looking still very healthy and classic. He is holding his fortune in his back. Where are the Lings?
The Lings are not here. A couple of them will show up right at the tail end, but nowhere near enough to surround the Stalkers. Not enough to provide a buffer for these Ravagers either. GG is called. Classic could be fighting back, could be tearing up her series 1-1 after a very explosive start. I feel like our SHIN discussion, our ramen discussion, lasted about half of that game.
It's fine. We got to dive into it as things were popping off. But as you said, GG, well played. A solid game there at a classic. He pulled SHIN apart. He punished him as SHIN was maybe cutting too many corners. He stayed on a low Ling count. The Adepts got out of hand. They got out of control. Of course, then that forced SHIN into the all-in. The all-in was doing damage, yes, but as we saw, we just ran out of steam. It took a little bit too long to kill the shield battery. The shield battery survived 2 volleys of Biles, and by the time it died, it already ran out of the overcharge, and that overcharge put in the work. It did keep all those Stalkers alive for so long.
Yeah, I have to wonder if we had one more Bile on top of that shield battery, if things would have looked a little bit different there. I still think SHIN would have run out of steam eventually. I still think that Classic, would probably have been able to retreat to the natural base and clear out the army, and at that point for SHIN, I'm not sure if taking out the third base would have been enough for him.
Oh yeah, potentially. And now we're getting into our next game. We are tied up though. We're tied up 1-1. We have a series. That's all I ever ask for. It's not going to be one-sided 3-0. No, it's going to be a back and forth trade between our 2 players. We're making for a good finals.
Indeed, we are. We have the player representing Twisted Mind, and we have the player with the Twisted Mind. I love what we were able to witness, and I'm loving that the clash between them is very, very close. I'm liking chat right now, by the way. And how they are dubbing this particular match. I'm into it. Here we are in the SHIN versus Chin. We are here continuing our series on Alcyone. We're here in the top right-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the top right. We have our red Zerg player coming down from the land of Korea. He is, of course, going to be representing his team, Guy Min Gladiators. He is the man with the ramen. We have SHIN.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the blue Protoss player representing Team Twisted Minds. It is Classic. As SHIN is spicing it up once again, not shrimp flavored, with the spice, with the go base. Oh.
That's a spicy meatball. Which Classic immediately scouts.
He does. Again,
nothing gets past that Chin.
It's not uncommon for Koreans to go for this goal base. We should be throwing down a Forge. I imagine we should be throwing down a Forge. Behind this, yep, there it is. Forge is thrown down. And this is a very common response that Hero and Classic have perfected versus Dark, is to cannon rush the gold.
Yeah. Because realistically, what's a Zerg player going to do? How are they going to respond to shield batteries from here? They don't have range units yet. It's going to take them a while to get queens, and even then queens are going to be vulnerable. Spine crawlers, take a little while to produce, and if you're producing them back at home, it can take a little while to get them in position and walk them over here. So pulling drones before your probe is able to, before the probe is able to throw down cannons, and I love this with the patrol, by the way. SHIN kind of preventing a little bit of surface area, preventing a couple of cannons from getting thrown down right on the edge of the mineral line.
And there we go. He gets surrounded one of the pylons. Pylon gets shut down. We have the cannon that's halfway done. Spine crawlers are on the way. So far, so good. SHIN, he's shutting this down. He cancels and denies the cannon rush, and SHIN holds.
Beautifully done here by SHIN. And now the creep is here, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
cannons are Gonna be a little bit trickier to throw down.
I mean, the spine is going to finish. The spine is going to finish up, so this cannon is not going to complete. Shin, he has defended. Blings have arrived as well. Behind this, Classic now has to deviate away. Remember, his expansion and his tech, everything was delayed because of the cannon rush, and the cannon rush falls on its face.
Just like so. And Classic, now very much behind.
Is going to be behind. We do see the adept shading on now. We do have a backup pylon here to reinforce again. Classic, he has to double down on aggression. Classic using his forge to rush into +1 attack. Oh my god, very interesting use of that forge, but we have to make use of it in some way. Meanwhile, the pylon is done and we can proxy right next to the base of Shin.
And let him cook. That's what I say. As something planned here, doesn't have a Twilight Council just yet, but like you said, getting +1. Vanilla Stalkers with an upgrade, with an attack upgrade, I think can get quite a lot done here, so long as Classic is careful with his kiting.
As long as he is careful, and there we go, we have the Robo and the Gateway. This Robo should be for a proxy Immortal, right? To just rally Immortals immediately here into the face of Shin. I imagine maybe even with a bit of a Soul Train-esque all-in, you know, with Sentries, with Stalkers, with maybe even Slow Lots as well. Regardless, this game is going to be a short one here. Classic wants to try to break Shin here and now, but Shin does catch an Adept in the center of the map. Not a bad pickoff, but Shin has yet to scout any of this.
He hasn't, surprisingly, as an Overlord, like right next to that position, but hasn't quite been able to get eyes on top of that proxy.
Exactly, Overlord going in for a scout.
Pressure.
Yeah, we see Shin, he's trying to get eyes on any kind of tech. He sees nothing, which should be a little bit suspect here. You can see he's fanning out his links. He's looking for a ninja base. He's looking for a ninja right now, and it looks like eventually he will find this, but we already have our first Immortal. Oh, he spots it!
Indeed we do. We have the first Immortal. We have a rally point already. That Immortal, if it wasn't so trigger happy, if it didn't take out that Zergling, could have been hidden a little while longer.
Could have been hidden. We try to catch the sentries, but we have adepts to help support this army, and here we go, the Immortal Sentry. The Soul Train-esque all-in is coming in towards that natural +1 attack is done, by the way, so we have that extra firepower with the Spine Crawler trying to hold on. We do transfuse, but the Spine Crawler goes down.
And we did say in game number 1, with Immortals out, Spine Crawlers are pretty quick to fall. Really good use of the Force Fields, denying surface area once again for these Lings. Biles are trying to get on top of this army, but Classic is able to dodge them. Huge surround on one of these Immortals. It will go down. The other Immortal still standing strong, but Shin still has plenty of Lings where that came from. Still more. There's no buffer available anymore. The surround is huge. The Bile will just barely not connect, but that's still a lot of damage. That's still a very badly bruised Immortal.
Yeah, and you can see Shin, he wants it. He wants that Immortal, but he has to calm things down. He has to back up. We have 5 more Roaches on the way. We have 4 Queens on the front lines. It feels like Shin is held. It feels like Shin, he's weathered the storm, weathered the worst of it. But did I speak too soon? Because now we have a second Immortal, by the way, and we do have a Force Field available as well.
We do, but we don't have as many sentries as earlier. Shin trying to get Classic on more disadvantageous ground, a more open ground where he can go for big surrounds on top of these units. Boys are being pulled. Shin can absolutely afford to lose a couple of drones.
Yeah, and he
Both
does.
Immortals fall.
Yeah, he just cleans up this army. The Immortals do fall. 2 Queens went down, but we hold. GG gets called, and Shin takes a lead in this series, 2-1.
GG. Nicely done here from Shin. Looks at the gold base strategy. The rush to the gold is still viable. Classic. He had a response to the gold base. Then that got shut down. Then he had a follow-up response, which I thought was pretty good. Like, was going to be really potent and effective as well. Turns out Shin, he knew exactly how to counter the counter. That was a game of Uno reverse if I ever saw one.
There we go. GG, well played. Shin able to make use of that. I mean, we saw Classic scout and respond with the cannon rush, but Shin, he had such a clean response to said cannon rush, made sure that his base was not punished, that it got up and running, and was able to defend the follow-up and scout, more importantly, the follow-up all-in as well. Very important that he did come across that Robo in the end.
Indeed. if it was just going to be, proxy gateways, that response from SHIN would not have worked out.
Definitely.
I would imagine it would have involved, instead of a Robo, that would probably be a Twilight Council involved, most likely Blink, maybe Charge, but either way, you wouldn't be able to get away with that, with the defense that SHIN had, if it was purely gateways.
There you go. Meanwhile, I want to give a special shout out as well to someone in the chat. I don't know who, but we did get an anonymous tip. 10 USD. Thank you so much for the donation. Thank you so much for the tip. Thank you so much. You know who you are.
I know who it was.
Yeah, we don't know who you are, but maybe
I know who it was. It was the CEO of SHIN Corporation.
it was the CEO of SHIN Ramyun. Of course it was. Of course he had to give us the sponsorship money. That's why we spoke about it for the past couple of games. True.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Checks in the mail.
Look, just saying. Look, Mr. CEO, I love the tip. I love the donation, but could you just send us some ramen black, please? That's all we really want. That's all Yaku wants as well.
Yeah, we'll film it a review live.
I don't know about that.
But regardless, we're here continuing our best of 5 grand finals on Amphion, where over here in the top left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the top left, we have our blue Zerg player now on match point. He is spicy, he is savory, he is one game away from becoming this week's ESL Open Cup Asia champion. Representing Gaimin Gladiators, we have SHIN.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss representing Twisted Minds. It is Classic.
Player who we normally expect to be favored in this matchup. I mean, we were talking about it for quite a while. Classic, for the past year or so, has pretty consistently been top 2 Protoss player in all of Korea, and has very often been in the top 3, if not the top 5 Protoss players in the world for the past 2 to 3 years. So for SHIN to come in today, look so solid against him, be able to just completely shut down every single response that Classic has had to SHIN's unorthodox strategies, shall we call them, really shows that SHIN is leveling up his play, just getting a lot, refining his play so much that he could be an absolute force to be reckoned with going into GSL Season 2, going into ESL Masters Dallas.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, again, like, as I'm sure maybe people are seeing, and maybe some people are not too familiar with SHIN, but again, SHIN, he's a very unorthodox player. I mean, he can play standard, to get us wrong. He can play standard, he can play straight up, but he's got a lot of different cheeses and a lot of different all-ins, and, if he can take a gold on a map, then he will try to do it, and it even does work against some of the best Protoss players in the world. Players like Classic, players like Hero, players like MaxPax, SHIN does pose a threat to all of them. But now we're settling into our next game, and now the ball is in Classic's court, because this time we have some standard openers. It's going to be a hatch gas pool into a third base from SHIN, Classic going for a Stargate opener.
Indeed, he is. Not going to be a safety Void Ray this time. Going to go straight for the Oracle. Amphion is a bit more of a defensible map, so I guess you don't need to get that Void Ray at the start. You don't have to worry too much about harass.
Yeah, we have our Adepts going to be threatening a shade here towards the bases. So far, SHIN is keeping up. He has Links here on the high ground. The Queen does respond as well. And 2 Adepts do one-shot workers here, but we don't want to throw them away as we do not commit to the shade, and Classic does retreat. Meanwhile, we have that Oracle, of course, in production. And we do have our spores already set up. We have 1 spore in the main base. We don't have a spore at the third, but we have Queens in position.
Yeah, you can definitely get away with not getting spore crawlers against a single Oracle, or even double Oracle, so long as you have your Queens in at the right place at the right time.
Exactly, you can see that that's basically what Classic is trying to do, is trying to drag these Queens out of position. The Adepts, they will shade towards that third base, but again, the Lings are able to keep up, and so far no damage is being done, but we do have more Oracles that are in production. The Adepts, they do commit into the main.
Able to get 2 drones, but not much else from there. Oracles are now out, both Oracles, and Classic is getting damage done.
Yeah, 5 drones go down. Pretty good damage. The Oracles will both barely survive. We have a third Oracle coming out, and this is going to lead to the third base. The third, it's already halfway done. So a good setup here by Classic, and he still has all Oracles alive. He can still get even more economic damage done as well with this now new third Oracle.
That's a lot of Oracles. Now he doesn't even need to have all of them together. The weakened Oracle sent back home to make Shin think twice before Zergling harassing. And now 2 Oracles, just dives into a mineral line. Ooh, gets a couple of drones, almost loses one of them, but thankfully for Classic, he was able to maneuver it away, keep both of them alive.
Does barely keep it alive, is going to be able to generate their shields. Behind this, we're going for a Gateway Explosion. I believe the Forge is done, Twilight Council is done as well. This should be +1 and Blink on the horizon here for Classic as he gets up to a 6-gate setup on 3 bases, which is what we expect to be seeing here. We'll see if we throw down additional gateways. We'll see if we do avoid these gases, as we could try to go for something crazy like an 8-gate 3-base all-in.
Yeah, so we're seeing 4 more gates on the way, plus the 2 here that's already been built. So okay, 6 gates so far. Pretty macro, pretty normal. Doesn't have to be an all-in yet.
Yeah, that was brave, Yaku. Math on stream. You're crazy. Oh my god.
Yeah. Wait, I got it right.
No, yeah, you're good.
Yes.
You're good.
2 plus 4, 6.
You're good, man. You're good. Taking our 4th base as well. He's he's spreading his creep, still trying to maintain map control as well. And his option or his composition of choice is going to be Ling, Roach, Ravager. I imagine Ling, Bane, Roach, Ravager. As never mind, we're not going for the melee upgrade. We're going for range instead.
Oh, interesting. Interesting choice here from Shin. Looking at his vision, I guess he has scouted the amount of stalkers that were on the map, and yeah, is guessing that it's going to be a Blink Stalker based composition, which will be the correct guess. And as such, yeah, you do want roaches against them.
You do. We do get revelations here between the bases. Now, a lot's going on right now. So we see Classic, it takes 2 gases. It takes his extra gases, which means we're taking a 4th base and we're taking up into Robo production. There it is. The bay is on the way. We should be seeing a 2nd Robo and double Colossus production from Classic, so we're entering the mid-game. Meanwhile, Shin is doubling down. He's cutting workers at 69. Nice! And we have a Nidus Worm on the way for Shin.
Indeed, we do. We have a Nidus Worm, but we also have an Infestation Pit just in case.
Oh! You know what that means. Swarm Host.
Indeed, it is. I thought it was just in case the Roach Nidus doesn't work out. You know, he can get into his hive, he can get into his late game, but nope. That Infestation Pit was not for a hive, but for all of these Swarm Hosts. There are plenty of positions on Amphion where you can get away with sending out your Swarm Hosts with sending out wave after wave of Locusts. Let's see what Shin goes for.
Yeah, and so this is going to be an interesting one. As you mentioned, there are a lot of really nice locations, like here on the left-hand side, where you cannot actually access this area without going through rocks or minerals, so the Nidus should be safe and sound for a Locust Wave. On the flip side, though, Blink Stalkers don't care about these walls. They can chase down Swarm Hosts, so Swarm Hosts, they can struggle sometimes against Blink Stalker heavy compositions. We'll see how this all comes together as the first Locust Wave is headed towards the main. The tech!
The tech is uber vulnerable. It's 1 pylon. It's the only thing keeping a lot of production alive. Meanwhile, Shin doing a great job of distracting Classic with his main army. I cannot believe the Robo Bay stays alive. The Nexus goes down, which is a little bit concerning, but that Robo Bay will survive and will allow Classic to continue researching Thermal Ants and get more Colossus out.
Yeah, as the Colossus barely does have good target firing out of Shin, but the Colossus does live throughout it. We're going to be pushing out across the map. Again, the base falling was good, but the Tech, the Forge, and the Rodix Bay do survive, but we're getting ready for the second wave, this time towards the natural.
There are a couple of Stalkers in position. Oracle's coming back home to try to deal with this. Pulsar Beam, can make short work of Locust. Let's go straight for the base, but it doesn't look like he does have barely enough to take it out. That's a lot of lost mining.
That's brutal. That's 2 bases going down. Classic is knocked down to a 2-base economy, by the way. He can't quite afford his production. He is making 2 more Colossus. He's about to hit 4. That's going to be critical mass. But rebuilding, that's going to be another story.
Yeah, we're at the point where SHIN is now maxed out, and Classic is struggling to get more than 150 supply. We're gonna very quickly reach a point where SHIN can afford to trade inefficiently, so long as he is able to bleed out some of these high-tech units of Classic.
Exactly, but here we go. We're pushing in towards that third base. We're going for the Colossus. We're going for the dive. One Colossus goes down, and soon to be another. Behind this, we do have the Swarm host with us around. Another Nexus does fall. We're down to one base.
Yeah, SHIN doesn't care about these Stalkers anymore. He's diving straight on top of the Colossus, takes 2 of them down, and badly injures the other 2. And Classic is struggling to rebuild. That other base went down. The Streets Classic is down to a single base economy for the time being.
Yeah, exactly. He's trying to rebuild his next side. He's trying to mass up. Meanwhile, it looks like he's going for an all-in. It's all or nothing for Classic. And to be fair, that Locust Wave is going to be in a bit of trouble. Meanwhile, who is it? No!
Oh. Is it me?
No!
Oh, Soba!
His internet is so bad. It's so it looks like one of our casters, is having some latency issues. So unfortunately, we might have to kick him out. And we actually have a bit of a freeze frame here to take a glance at the army. Now there is a Locust Wave available. There is going to be a Locust Wave.
There is going to be a Locust Wave available. When you said we have a freeze frame here, the only thing I could think of was, you're probably wondering how I got to this situation. Who would it be? The Colossus?
Oh, yeah, I mean, so we have three, right? Or is it 2? I can't quite see through the... It's 2.
2.
Yeah, okay, we have
but
2.
One of them is at half health.
Yeah, we have 2 Colossus, we have Stalkers. We did just reinforce with a wave of Stalkers as well. And you can see that SHIN, he's getting ready with his Concave. Again, he has a Locust Wave ready for this as well. And it looks like our player is about to lag out. So we're going in.
Yeah, starting to go in. SHIN setting up a Concave, setting up a bit of surround. Like I said, this is all or nothing left for Classic. And he has a pretty potent army, don't get us wrong, but it's very much dependent on whether or not he can avoid these Locusts, which it looks like he barely is. The boys pulled of this army.
Yeah, I mean, we have to do something. Oh, no, the boys, they go down to the piles. We do save both Colossus. Good juggling here by Classic, but again, what else can the boys do? As 6 probes do fall at the same time. Nidustorm right into the natural as well across the map to try to punish Classic. Meanwhile, he keeps on with his all-in. He does catch a queen, gets on top of some of these Ravagers. He is gaining some ground. Even the Oracles, they add what little DPS they can.
Yeah, trying every little bit counts here for Classic. Another Colossus goes down. He's down to only 2. Fresh one does rock up. 13 probes go down. Classic is uber all in, but he might just about be able to get it done. These Locusts do get popped on the other side of the map, so
yeah,
it just affirms the all in here for Classic. They're not at home to defend here for SHIN.
Exactly, that means we don't have the Locust Wave at home. Instead, we do collapse on these Colossus. Good juggling once again. We do keep them alive. We're getting some damage on the Biles. Oh, they will connect. They don't quite get the Colossus, but they force the Unsiege. And SHIN is running out of Roaches. He's running out of Ravagers. It looks like, can he get the Colossus? They're so low. Oh my god.
So insanely low. Barely gets one of them. Another one is pretty much on 1 HP as well. Classic is not going to be mining at all anymore. Absolutely no chance in that. Locusts have reset.
Yeah, Locust Wave
will go down.
Yeah, and with the Locust Wave, we force back the army. Probes are going to be going down as well. We end up bleeding out 35 workers in this assault. Base did fall. We're down to 1 mining base here for Classic. SHIN can afford to lose a hatchery, and SHIN has to calm things down a little bit here and wait for reinforcements.
That he really, really does. He needs to make sure that he's got Locusts in his Swarm host. He's got to make sure that he has a decent Ravage count as well to be able to throw down these Biles. Viper is on the way, but it's not going to have much energy. Again, SHIN can afford to lose a couple of workers here, so long as he defeats his army.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, Biles not quite going to be connecting. We're waiting for the Locust Wave. The Locust Wave just finished up in time. A lot of the Roach Ravager has gone down. We have made a Viper. I don't know how much that's going to help, though. We need a little bit of energy as we are gaining ground. Some of the Stalkers are falling. That one Colossus putting in a lot of work, and we do push through the Roaches.
Yeah. One yoink is all it takes on this Colossus to have the backbone of Classic's army completely fall down. But now SHIN's starting to lose a couple of his damage-dealing units.
Oh, he yoinks! We juggle! The
That poor
juggling is...
Colossus got yoinked and pulled back, and
But we hold on. We shut down the Stalkers. Only 3 Stalkers remaining. The one Colossus does make it back home. And what do we have at home to defend? We have the one base mining here. Barely any minerals whatsoever as well. And SHIN, he's held.
he has held. He is regrouping. He is. He doesn't have the Viper here, you know? He doesn't have anti-air, he doesn't have the Viper.
Oh my god, as we get a lot of free damage on those roaches. A lot of roaches going down. These are expensive losses, by the way. SHIN does not have the most amazing economy. There's some big pickoffs here from Classic. As he chases this all the way back, we go for the power bomb on the prism. Okay, I mean, that's an answer.
Yeah. It leaves it a little vulnerable. It's taken hull damage now. One more power bomb will take it out, and you know, without the Warp Prism, there's no micro potential for this Colossus. So yeah, not a bad option there for SHIN. More Stalkers coming into position.
Yeah, as we quickly have a look here at the unit stat, we have 10 Stalkers remaining here. That one Colossus putting so much. We do go for the yoink. Finally goes down, and the power bomb as well.
Just for good measure, that's got to be the end here for Classic. Roaches and Ravagers trying to chase down this Stalker army. Did the Zerglings go down? I guess they did.
Yeah,
they're not here to chase the Stalkers.
Oh yeah, the Lings, they went down, but the Roach Ravagers still picking off some of these Stalkers. I mean, these are good Lings, these are efficient trades out of Classic, but he cannot rebuild, he cannot remake these Stalkers. As we see SHIN retaking this hatchery, the base is getting back up and running. The Vipers are going to be able to generate that energy for some more abductions, some more blinding clouds. We have infestors on the way, being as efficient as possible. Did we lose all the swarm hosts? It looks like, I guess we did. We did lose all the swarm hosts earlier as well.
I was wondering what happened to them, yeah. Lost all the swarm hosts, but now we're getting infestors, so which are probably a better option at this point. You know, a good fungal on these Stalkers will leave the rest of anything that Classic has vulnerable. The bases of Classic vulnerable, I should say.
Yeah, it really will. Nidus Worm finally goes down. Classic retaking the base on the right-hand side. So he's looking to try to reestablish his economy here. He's going for a Disruptor. Bold move. Disruptors can do quite well for themselves, but we have abductions, and there is no War Prism to help keep this Disruptor alive.
Yeah. Second Disruptor on the way as well, but
the sites!
Like you said, the infestors do split away from the army. Both of them go down, and there are none remaining here for SHIN. He has a very powerful army. Regardless, he missed the Disruptor. He gets it in the end, but one Purification Nova does land. It looks like it's not going to be enough, though. It's 74 army supply versus 7 here. GG is called. SHIN will beat the Chin and will take the series 3-1. Will be your ESL Open Cup Asia number 228 champion.
My heart.
That was one hell of a series.
That was a very chaotic series, very back and forth there between SHIN and Classic. Again, I feel like, if you're maybe not too familiar with SHIN, this was a really good introduction to SHIN as well, right? We saw a proxy gold base on Dynasty, we saw the gold base rush on Alcyone, we saw again here going a standard opener into Swarmhost Nidus on Amphion as well, which was a really good way to make use of the map. Yeah, just some really, really unique and specific builds that SHIN does like to embrace from time to time. Again, it does make him stand out and more unique compared to some of these other top-tier Zerg players out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I really like how you put it as well. It's a real good introduction to SHIN, because that series was chaos, but it was refined chaos as well. It really does look like SHIN, throughout the entire series, knew exactly what he was doing, and on top of that, he also had, you know, the micro, the macro, the mechanics to back him up and really be able to get away with and execute his builds like that. That game on Alcyone in particular, I was convinced Classic was going to take it, because it just seemed really obvious getting that gold base, and it seemed like, you know, when you put out a cannon rush, that's how you deal with that. But SHIN was able to not only deflect that, he was also able to deflect the follow-up response that Classic had with that robo facility as well. That was... I'm excited to see more of SHIN in the upcoming tournaments here on out. I feel like SHIN, for a very long time, has kind of been known as the player who has a brilliant mind, but hasn't really been able to coordinate that with his hands so much. But now, his control, his micro, his macro, all of them looks very, very clean. And I'm excited to see what he brings to the table here in tournaments like ESL Masters and GSL.
Definitely. Again, SHIN, he's an amazing player and even did well for himself over at IEM Katowice. I remember being there and I remember SHIN, I remember being shocked that SHIN had a lot of fans at IEM Katowice. I remember there was like a 7-year-old kid watching StarCraft with his dad, and I remember him asking his dad, he was like, "Where does SHIN play? Where is he playing?" And I was like a row down, and I heard this. I'm like, how does this kid know about SHIN? How does does he like watch his YouTube videos or something? Like what's going on? It was really interesting to me.
I don't know if that's good parenting or terrible parenting. I don't know if you want to have your kids under the influence of SHIN at that early of an age.
Hi. Regardless, GG, well played. Congratulations here to SHIN as he does take the series, and he is our champion, of course, this week. Very well done. As you mentioned before, I mean, this was not an easy road for SHIN, right? Like, he was not the favorite player coming into this. I mean, Dark, right? He took down Dark and Classic and Beyond as well. And like, Beyond. Arguably, SHIN had the hardest road to the finals. He took down a top player from every single race.
Absolutely agree with you on that one. Looking at the bracket that we had here tonight, Bjorn was absolutely the top Terran player. Dark was absolutely the top Zerg player. And Classic, absolutely the top Protoss player as well. For SHIN to come in, face all of them, and beat all of them, that's a fantastic sign.
Oh, yeah. Is a fantastic sign, and yeah, with that, congratulations to SHIN. My condolences to Classic. I mean, he had a good run to make it to the finals. He was favored to take the finals as well. Yeah, did beat Cure. Was not easy at all, but congratulations to our SHIN here. And with that, I hope everyone in the chat enjoyed themselves. Hope everyone in the chats enjoyed the broadcast here tonight. Again, we do cast StarCraft on a daily basis, and we're here every single week with ESL Open Cup Asia. So be sure to hit that follow button to be notified when we go live next, and we should be going live tomorrow with ESL Open Cup Americas.
Indeed, that's going to be in less than 12 hours. Not sure how the time zones work out there. Is it summer over in the north? Is it autumn over where you're at? I should ask instead.
Kinda, I guess. I don't
know what seasons are. I live on the equator, literally right on the line.
Yeah, like it's always hot and humid here.
Look, sometimes we get thunderstorms for a week in a row. That's a monsoon. Hasn't happened yet, and it also doesn't line up with the 4 seasons either.
It's all good. It's all good. Regardless, hope everyone enjoyed themselves. Hope you had a great time. Thank you so much, Jakob, for joining me today as well for ESL Open Cup Asia. Yes. Of course, you're going to be back here next week for the next ESL Open Cup. Another big thing coming up this week is WTL. WTL went on a week break because of Stars War 11, but World Team League is back this weekend. So is Kung Fu Cup.
Yeah. All coming back. Stars War 11 did conclude over the weekend, so we are going to be coming back to the regularly scheduled SC Boy events, Kung Fu Cup, WTL, all of it coming back this week. If you !Discord in the chat, if you're keeping up with WTL, we do have a prediction game going in our Discord in one of the sub-threads over on the Tournament Spoilers channel, so you can put some predictions down, see how they stack up with some of our other members who are participating in that. It's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, it is a lot of fun. Again, Discord is the place to be if you want to place your bets and predict for WTL. Otherwise, again, our next broadcast is in 12 hours time. It's going to be ESL Americas. We also have the Club NV X Ducklings Showdown tomorrow, which is going to be in just under 24 hours, by the way. And that is going to be a best of 7 between SHIN and Nightmare. So SHIN is going to be making his return here on the CranKy Ducklings. We're going to be hosting a best of 7 show match with SHIN and Nightmare tomorrow.
That's going to be a true nightmare. Wow. Both players who are, both players who very recently got picked up by new teams. And, you know, if you like what you saw from SHIN tonight, especially in the series against Classic here, That's going to be another ZvP that he's going to be playing in tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
It's a full best of 7. Ooh.
Yeah, and I mean, Nightmare's been hot right now. Like, he's been getting some really good results. He's been taking down some big names as well.
He has, but I will say he's been hot and he's been on a bit of a win streak in PvP and PvT. I don't think he's really been able to show what he's capable of yet in PvZ, but you know what? That's why we have a show match tomorrow.
Oh yeah, that's why we have the show match.
So we're gonna find out.
But with that, thank you so much everyone for watching. Yaku, do you have anything you want to say before we head off for the night?
Nongshim Corporation, if you're listening, you can !Discord in the chat. Slide into some of our DMs if you want to send us some ramen. We are fully willing to have your logo on. I will draw your logo in my background. The next time we stream.
That'll happen.
In exchange for ramen.
Yeah, we don't even want any money. We just want like a 25 pack of ramen each, like every month.
A variety pack, that we can mukbang it.
There you go, and that'll just keep us alive and keep us going forever.
Yeah. Or until we get dehydrated.
Oh yeah.
That's some MSG in the packets.
It's fine. You'll be fine. Don't worry about it. There's a lot of different ways, but you can add egg, you can add cheese, you can add milk. Yeah. You can add milk as well.
Oh, you can. I've never tried that.
It's good. It's really good.
I do egg. I do spring onions or chives, if you want to call it that. Spring onions are pretty good. Sometimes I put a slice of Spam.
Oh, I've never eaten Spam
because it's like because the regular mushroom or gourmet spicy. I can never tell if it's spicy mushroom or gourmet spicy, or just normal one. But the standard spicy base is pretty much the same base as army stew. So.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard it's really common for Koreans to add Spam to. I mean, they add Spam to a lot of stuff. To be fair, I don't know why, but
they love Spam over there.
But I've never actually had Spam
sausage?
myself. Oh, I'll try it. Sausage. Oh, sausage. Yeah, chorizo.
It doesn't have to be Spam. Chorizo. I think chorizo might be overkill.
It may be.
You want that like processed hot dog that's like made out of questionable cuts of meat.
You're like, chorizo's too fancy, mate. Or I know what you're doing. Okay, I want this thing to try to kill me.
When you say you put cheese in there, we mean specifically, Kraft single.
Yeah, processed cheese.
Stuff that is the stuff that in some countries isn't considered cheese.
Yes.
That's what you want.
Exactly. Yeah. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you guys next time. We'll see you guys in 12 hours. See you
Subscribe for more gourmet ramen tips.
There you go. See you guys. Bye. Ciao.
Bella.